Hi, everyone, and welcome back for another episode of Malice in the Mitten. I am your host, Tracy Preston, along with my bestie, Christine Mulligan. Hey, Christine.
Hey, Trace. What's going on? What are we getting into today? What are you telling me about? What kind of malice in the mitten are we going to talk about today?
Oh, we got some good malice here. Time is upon us. It's that time of year when, everybody's moving into college campuses.
Yeah, I can't even believe the summer went by so fast.
Yeah, it's nuts.
Well, the older we get, the faster time flies. So you're bringing up colleges. So you're going to tell me about some college mayhem? I'm going to hear about some dead co-eds. Is that what's happening?
Yeah, I'm actually going to tell you a little bit about that.
Okay. All right. As long as it's not babies, I guess I can get down with it. Either way, you're going to tell me regardless of whether I want to hear it or not. So
you know I will.
Let's go.
Okay. All right. All right. Well, Michigan State University is literally a hop, skip, and a jump from where we live. And MSU is located in East Lansing. Well, today's story takes place here in the city of higher education, and it's pretty brutal. Angela Hoefler researched and wrote this episode, so thank you, Angela. Now, let's get into it. This is Season 8, Episode 19, Donald Gene Miller, the East Lansing Killer. Imagine being 19 years old. You're in love for the first time with a boy from church. He's polite, clean-cut, the kind of young man parents dream about for their daughters. That's what Martha Sue Young thought too. She believed she had found her soulmate. But the boy she trusted, Donald Gene Miller, was hiding something far darker. Martha grew up in Bath Township, just outside of Lansing, and by 1976, she was 19. She was kind, thoughtful, devoted to her family. She met Don Miller through church, and their romance was wholesome. Prayer groups, Bible study, church outings. Don seemed like the perfect Christian boyfriend. Don and Martha didn't go on the usual dates like dinner and a movie. Instead, they found joy in attending prayer meetings and church functions together. She felt she had found her one true person. So, when Don proposed, Martha said yes. But only weeks later, she broke off the engagement. And here's the thing. No one knows why. Was it something she saw in him? Something he said? We will never know. But what we do know is that Don Miller didn't handle rejection well. I mean, on the surface, it appeared that Don took the breakup pretty well. He even told her that she should keep the engagement ring because, after all, they were good friends. But deep down, Don was absolutely losing it. So, who is Don Miller? Don was born December 28th, 1954, in Lansing, Michigan. He was one of 3 children of Gene and Elaine Miller. His parents lived in a middle-class neighborhood. They were considered to be upstanding, religious, and law-abiding citizens. They had a good family life. Don attended East Lansing High School, where he was regarded as a good student. He played the trombone in the school's marching band. He was also a youth minister at his church, which was Central United Methodist Church, located on Capitol Avenue in Lansing. Now, after graduating from high school in 1973, he enrolled into college at Michigan State University. He was majoring in criminal law. While he and Martha were dating, he worked part-time as a construction worker. Now, get this. In a fellow classmate's yearbook, Miller wrote this, quote, the prime directive is to kill and to not let those chicks ruin your morals. So what in the heck is that about? And what was going on in this dude's home while he was growing up?
Well, I still want to know what he did to the other chick, but are you telling us we'll never know because she's dead? Am I jumping too far ahead?
Yeah.
Okay. That's why you're pulling up where his friends are saying that the prime objective is to kill it instead of them ruining your life. So in other words, he has a high esteem for women, I see. Sarcastic, of course.
Right. So what in the heck? Like, he wrote this passage in high school, so he hadn't even come across Martha yet.
Yeah, so that's what I was pointing out, is that he has been well conditioned to have no respect for women.
Right.
That's what I'm gathering from this.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay. All right, carry on.
All right. December 31st, 1976, when the clock strikes midnight, we start fresh with a whole new year ahead of us. Martha had a babysitting job for the night, but Don told her that he wanted to talk with her. She told him that he could tag along with her if he wanted, so he did. So after her babysitting job ended, Don invited her to his place to watch a movie and eat some pizza. It was about 11:30 at night when Don left to take Martha home. But instead of taking Martha home, Don pulled the car over, and there, on the side of the road, he assaulted and then strangled her. It was the next morning when Martha's mother went to check on her, and Martha wasn't there. Her mother called the Millers in a panic, looking for her daughter, but Martha wasn't there either. Immediately after hanging up with Martha's mother, Don's father contacted the police department. Quote,
Ken, this is Jean Miller.
"Hey, what's going on?"
Martha's gone.
"Who's Martha?"
Well, Donnie's girlfriend. She apparently just disappeared.
Now, call it a gut feeling. The police swung into action and began their investigation into the young missing woman's case. They located witnesses who claimed that Don was the last person to have seen her alive, and therefore he was detained for questioning. They brought him in for a polygraph test, and despite failing it, he convinced investigators that he was innocent. Officer Ken said this, quote,
He was very calm, willing to help. He was not evasive in any way. He didn't say no to any of the questions we asked him. He was very cooperative, and I'll never forget that interview. I asked Don if he wanted something to eat or something to drink, and he'd say, I just want to find Martha. I just want to help you find Martha.
Now, during the interrogation, Miller admitted he had spent the night with her. However, he insisted that he drove her to her doorstep around 2 a.m. that morning. Then he headed back home. The officers were given permission by Don to have a look inside of his vehicle. They saw what looked like a small blood stain on the passenger side seat, in which he explained he could have had a bloody nose. And later, he changed his story that it may have been when he and Martha had been fooling around and mentioned that Martha had been menstruating. But that's not all they saw. To them, it looked like a shoe print on the inside of the door. In their effort to find Martha, a helicopter took flight and flew over all the areas they thought she could possibly be. However, with the fresh snowfall, all they could see were tire and animal tracks in the snow. Even with failing his polygraph miserably, it was his calm, cooperative manner that convinced investigators to let him go. I mean, no body, no case, right? So, out the door he went. Don Miller was a free man, and once he realized he could get away with murder, well, he would kill again. Dr. Judy Ho, a forensic psychologist, analyzes the life and crimes of murderers to try to figure out what makes them commit their crimes. She said this about Don, quote,
Don's early life was likely greatly controlled. There were certain things he was allowed to do and not allowed to do, and things that were considered proper and things that were considered bad. When individuals are raised this way, they may have difficult time staying within the lines as they grow up. There's going to be an internal sense of when to rebel and in what way.
As the investigation wore on, detectives learned from Miller himself that he never took Martha home that night. After the two had left his home, he pulled over so the two of them could talk. But Martha refused to talk about their problems. So he ended up strangling her, and at that point, he had to do something with the body. So he took her body a few miles away to a park where he had left her body. 3 months later, Martha's mother received a bouquet of flowers. The bouquet had a note on it, and it said that Martha was a rose. It was signed by Don Miller. He was clearly trying to rattle her mother and show her who was in control. And even though he was a person of interest, he could get away with murder. Now, in the months that followed, women around Michigan State University began vanishing. It was now June of 1978. 27-year-old Marita Choquette was an assistant editor at WKAR-TV. She also worked on campus at the station and lived in Grand Ledge. When she didn't show up for work, her father contacted the Grand Ledge Police Department to kind of go do a check on her at her apartment and see if she was there. Well, when they went to check on her, she wasn't there. Now get this, Don Miller lived about 10 minutes away from WKAR, and he knew Marita from church. Marita was known to have had affairs with married men after her divorce. Was it Don's moral compass that rationalized killing her because of her affairs? Now, she wouldn't be found until 2 weeks later, and she was found nude, posed under cinder blocks. She had been stabbed 19 times, and her hands had been cut off. Oh my God, so brutal. Then there was Wendy Bush. She was 21 years old and also a student at MSU. Wendy had just ended her shift at the college cafeteria when she was offered a ride home from a stranger. Now, Wendy was described as being a free spirit and literally would talk to anyone. But the next day, she didn't show up for work. Her supervisor did their due diligence and called and spoke with her roommate, then called the Michigan State Police and wanted to file a missing persons report. Now, as you can imagine, they were like, she's a college student. Maybe she just left campus. Maybe she's doing this. Maybe she's doing that. But once they found out that Wendy was an epileptic and she had not taken any of her medications or belongings from the dorm, that right there grabbed their attention. While investigating her disappearance, police came across witnesses that claimed they had seen her on campus walking with a young, tall, white man that they didn't recognize. Wendy Bush had been missing for weeks until Miller struck again. The woman's name was Christine Stewart. She was a 30-year-old school teacher. On the day that she disappeared, she had told her husband she was going to take her car in for repairs and that she would take the bus home. Well, she never returned home. You see, Miller spotted her walking on the sidewalk from the auto shop on August 14th. He would say later that he thought it was the ghost of Martha. Sounds like he offered to give her a ride home, and she took it. I mean, that whole concept is totally nuts, But it was also the 70s, right? Like people were hitchhiking, taking ride from strangers all the time. That's not going to happen in today's day.
No, but it is crazy how similar Uber is to that, only now you're paying for it. But the only safety net to that is that there's a tracking device of who picks you up and what car and yada yada. But Uber always does give me a little bit of the heebie-jeebies and the chilly willies, because it's very reminiscent of 70s, 80s, and 90s when people used to hitchhike.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's crazy.
I've never done the Uber thing ever.
Me neither. I think we're too old. I don't know.
Yeah. I know. I don't know how to work the damn app, probably.
I'm like, no, if I don't have a car, I will be renting a car. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Yeah, I'm not getting a stranger's car. Nope.
Yeah, that's happening. It's not happening.
All right, now officers had a witness to what had happened to Christine. This witness said that she had just left her home and was at the intersection when a car turned like right in front of her. Like she almost hit this car. She had to slam on the brakes. And when she got up near the car, she looked in and saw a man and a woman arguing, and then witnessed the woman getting stabbed.
Okay, wait a minute. They witnessed a woman getting stabbed, but they didn't go over and like check it out or anything? Like, what's happening here?
I don't know, girl. I think they just kept on going. I mean, I don't know how I would react like that. I mean, knowing you'd probably jump out and rip the car door open and beat this guy's ass.
Yeah, I mean, but when you witness something like that, I mean, I get that fight or flight kicks in, and I get that I'm abnormally more fight than flight. I get that. I understand I'm an anomaly. But I'm thinking like any human being, like something should have taken place where the first time anyone else learns that you witnessed a woman getting stabbed is only because you're getting questioned about a missing woman.
Yeah. I mean,
that's bananas to me.
Totally bananas. Like, at least get the license plate. Run your little self to the police department and report this like immediately. Something.
Like, because this is a long time afterwards, right? That this person is saying that they witnessed someone getting stabbed.
Yeah. Well, a couple months maybe, or a couple weeks, something like that.
Yeah, that's bananas.
Yeah.
I don't understand that at all.
Yeah, totally bonkers. But, I guess people, in shocky situations do weird shit or not do anything at all.
Yeah, that's a shame. But, all right, go ahead.
Hard to wrap your head around. Yeah. All right, so 4 women, 4 lives stolen, each one in Don Miller's twisted mind, a replacement for the fiance who rejected him. And I bet these women reminded him a lot of Martha. I think he had a type.
Apparently, either that or he just had a hankering for some malice because he got a taste of it. So he's like, what do they say about people that if you do something one time, you'll end up doing it over and over again?
Yeah.
He's one of them.
Yeah. Get out all the rage. Get it out. Feels good.
Yeah, that's not the way to go about it. But yeah, I guess.
Right.
He was just a sociopath from the word go.
Yeah, he was.
We finally catch him, but we didn't get to that part yet.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Okay. All right. But Don wasn't done just yet. I mean, this dude was on a frickin' rampage. And all those years of pent-up anger, that was unleashed. He was a total madman at this point. In August of 78, he broke into the home of 14-year-old Lisa Gilbert and her 13-year-old brother, Randy. Now, the following is from an interview from Lisa and Randy's account of what happened from the docuseries, I Survived a Serial Killer. Quote,
I was getting ready to call my stepmom. My brother Randy was out back fishing in the pond. I went out the garage and then around the house to call for Randy. When I came back to the house, there was a car in the driveway. When I walked into the garage, a man was coming out of our back door. And I said, "Can I help you?" We had just had our house built, and there were repairmen coming in to fix a few things, so I didn't think much about it. The man said, "Yeah, I was wondering if your dad was home." I said that he was at work, and I can get you his number. The guy didn't look like he was a mean person. I went into the house to write down my dad's number. I didn't realize that the man followed me in. He reached around me and put a knife to my neck and said to be quiet and you won't get hurt. He walked me into my parents' bedroom. He took off all of my clothes and assaulted me. He took the belt from my shorts and choked me until the belt broke. Then he used his hands to choke me, then a tie. I got to the point where I blacked out and saw stars, and that's when my brother walked in.
Next is Randy's account of what happened. Quote,
He grabbed me from behind and put a knife to my throat. He said, "Just be quiet. I'm not going to hurt you. Where's your bedroom?" I said, "My bedroom's upstairs." Still with the knife at my throat, still holding me, we walked up the stairs and into my bedroom. He put me down on the floor, face first, and he sat on my back. My left arm was behind my back, and at that point, he started cutting my neck. He was slicing my throat. I had to do something. I gotta fight back. So I decided to just play dead, because if I kept fighting, I knew that this man wouldn't stop until I was.
While the attack on Randy was going on, Lisa was able to get to the front door. With her hands tied behind her back, she was able to open the door. Quote,
I unlocked the front door, then just ran out into the street. No clothes on, blood coming from my nose, my arms and hands tied behind my back, and a tie around my neck.
Randy had 2 stab wounds to the chest. One of them had punctured his lung. Lucky for Randy, one of those stabs he received had just missed his heart. Once Don walked away from Randy, he went back to where he left Lisa, and when he saw she was not there, he just walked outside as cool as a cucumber, got into his car, and drove away. But, as luck would have it, a neighbor saw what was happening and wrote down the license plate of the car. Boom, gotcha, you son of a bitch. Hours later, Dan was in custody.
So that was all because of that little boy? Yeah, so who got the license plate? Lisa or the little boy?
The neighbor got the license
Oh.
plate because remember she ran outside naked, screaming, bloody, all that kind of stuff. And then her brother actually was able to finally get down to the door, but then he completely passed out. He was a hot, bloody mess. So the neighbor had kind of seen all the ruckus that was going on and saw the car. So he's like, he didn't write down the number, but he just kept repeating the license plate number over and over and over again so he wouldn't forget it.
Very cool.
Yeah, thank God. All right, so Miller was convicted of rape and attempted murder, and he was sentenced to 30 to 50 years. But here's the question. What about the missing women? At first, Miller denied everything. Then, investigators uncovered chilling trophies of his that he had taken, Martha's engagement ring for one, and bloody handcuffs. Faced with the evidence, Miller made a deal. He would lead them to the bodies if, and only if, the prosecutors reduced the charges. And, unbelievably, they agreed.
Well, unfortunately, the prosecutor probably went to the families and said, we can get him for 20 to life, we can get him 15 to 30. Let's us find out where the bodies are. And if I were the family member, I would have been like, yeah, let him do that. But then I'd be waiting in 15 to 30 to kill his ass.
That's right. I'd be waiting too. Oh, yeah.
Period. That's it.
Yep, absolutely.
All right, go ahead. I'm sorry, I interrupted.
All right. Now, he pled guilty to just 2 counts of manslaughter for 4 murders. Now, again, the prosecutors took this deal. For one, they needed closure for the families. And Miller was never going to confess without a bargain. For the victims' families, it was a devastating compromise. For Lisa and Randy Gilbert, survival meant years and years of trauma. And Miller? He spent decades behind bars trying for parole again and again. And in 1994, he even had his sentence extended after guards found a homemade strangulation device in his cell. Now, unless something changes, in 2031, Don Miller will be eligible to walk out of prison.
Well, that sucks, but I can't help but think, what the hell is a homemade strangulation device, like, other than a sheet?
Right.
What is that?
And
well,
why?
I mean,
And why?
I don't get.
And why stop them? Go for it. Go for it.
Yeah, well, they don't do it.
Yeah. I can't imagine they have shoestrings.
No, they don't have shoestrings, but they have sheets and stuff. But
Yeah.
I mean, but they didn't say that he like noosed up a sheet or anything. They said a homemade strangulation device. So what the hell is that?
Girl, I have no idea.
All right.
Yeah. All right, now in 2022, thanks to Governor Gretchen Whitmer, Michigan passed legislation giving the parole board more power, and that is in delaying hearings for violent offenders for up to 5 years. So survivors like Randy and his sister Lisa, that's good for them, right? They don't have to keep getting tortured year after year after year. You know, at least they have a 5-year respite for that. Now, Randy said this ensures survivors of horrific crimes are not re-traumatized. It protects families like mine.
Yeah, true story. Because otherwise, they're just allowed to keep going every year if they want to, and then that means that the victims and this victim statement stories and all that, they have to show up every year after year to keep them behind bars. I think that that's ludicrous.
I do too. And I couldn't even imagine having to do that. And like we've talked about in the past, if you don't show up, that person could absolutely end up getting parole if you're not there to fight.
Yeah, that's insane.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's a lot. I mean, the system overall, we got a lot of problems with the system,
Mm-hmm.
but that's definitively one of the problems. Like, when you get sentenced to 15 to 30, you literally should not be eligible for parole until you reach the minimum.
Right.
But that's not the case. That's not what they do.
Right.
But unfortunately, there's overcrowding in the prisons because instead of leaving room for sociopaths like this one, we lock people up for silly things. And there's loads of silly things. We don't have to get into the silly things. But there's a lot of people in jail for silly things. They should make more room for these sociopaths to rot there.
Right. Make sure there's plenty of room for these guys.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely nuts. And it's, you know, when you look at this guy, like he's kind of a mealy guy, you know, but it's just crazy to think that he got over on all of these women.
Yeah, it's a horrible thing.
Yeah. Just reinforces my thought about getting in to take a self-defense class, you know, learn how to break a chokehold when someone's getting on you. You know what I mean? Just little things. It's important. I think all women need some form of training.
Yeah.
They should do it in school.
I think it should be all humans, I think, because it's not just women that get attacked.
True.
So I agree. I think that self-defense should be like a school-taught extracurricular.
Yeah. Like it's part of your phys ed.
One of the electives.
Wow.
I
Absolutely.
agree.
Yeah. So that's our crazy ass story of Mr. Don Gene Miller. Not looking forward to 2031. Someone else
No.
we got to keep an eye out for because, I mean, he's from the Lansing area. So,
So likely he'll come back to it.
yeah. So everybody better keep an eye out for this dude. All right, everyone. Well, thank you so much. Thank you for listening as always. And don't forget to get your tickets. Our live show is coming up in just...
meet us at the live show. I'm super excited for it.
Yeah. It's just 3 weeks away. It's going to be here before you know it. Can't wait. So anyway, there will be a link in the show notes. So please go ahead and get those tickets. And we will see you guys all back on Wednesday for Round Robin. Thanks, everyone. Have a great week.
Bye.
Bye.